Climate change is one of the most significant challenges that global societies have ever faced. It's one of the few issues that can be described as truly pervasive, with far-reaching consequences. In this latest video series, we're exploring 6 areas of ESG that we think businesses need to be aware of and act on. And in this video, we're looking at climate-related liability and greenwashing. So what do we mean by climate-related liability, and why is it important? Here's my colleague Chris to share his thoughts.
As the global focus on climate change intensifies, so too does the scrutiny on businesses and corporate behaviour. Regulators, investors and stakeholders are holding businesses accountable for their impact on the environment. In fact, the UN Environment Programme and the Sabin Centre for Climate Change Law recently reported that the total number of climate change related cases has doubled since 2017 and is growing worldwide. While some companies have been dealing with climate related risk for many years, others have only started to prioritise this area. Current issues that businesses face include accounting for carbon intensity of suppliers and the downstream effects of their products and services, embedding energy transition plans and climate targets. Businesses are also grappling with what to tell their shareholders, consumers, staff and other corporate stakeholders about plans to tackle these issues. All this takes place against a rapidly evolving and complex regulatory and litigation backdrop, where the potential for disputes and liability has become significant. So where can climate-related disputes come from? Disputes come from various angles and a variety of claimants, including regulators, suppliers, NGOs, consumers, and investors. Most cases have been brought against governments, but this is increasingly changing, and we are seeing defendants range from governments and companies to individuals. Disputes arise across an array of sectors, including energy, aviation, finance, and more. Businesses are both initiating and responding to claims arising as they undergo their energy transition transformations, with conflict arising with regulators, government bodies, shareholders, and investors. Climate-related litigation in general has a diverse profile in terms of subject matter, covering a broad range of actions that arise from climate-related issues. Increasingly, climate-related claims are brought strategically to advance effective action on climate change worldwide, using varied legal avenues including environmental law, tort, human rights and constitutional law, criminal law, securities law, and international law. There's also been a significant upswing in greenwashing type claims. So why has this trend in greenwashing emerged? Over to my colleague Victoria.
In the last 5 years, accusations of greenwashing have surged as businesses have sought to meet the growing consumer demand for green, sustainable products and services. Layered on top of that are increasing demands from lenders, investors and shareholders for businesses to commit to ambitious targets to reduce emissions and do business in a responsible way with full transparency. We're also seeing the use of the term climate washing increasing, which specifically looks at the claims companies make about their contribution to tackling climate change or their corporate climate commitments. Whilst historically the regulation of green claims has been limited, there's been a shift in this area in the last few years, with increasing regulation and scrutiny of green claims by UK and global regulators. The CMA, the ASA and the FCA have become more motivated to clamp down on greenwashing than ever before. This combination of factors means that accurate reporting and managing risk can present a serious challenge. Greenwashing allegations are more prevalent than ever and represent a potential reputational minefield, in addition to exposing companies to regulatory scrutiny and litigation threats. As such, navigating the complexities of climate-related liability and greenwashing requires vigilance and adaptability. Yet transparency isn't just about risk management, it's a competitive advantage. Organisations that can articulate genuine, verifiable commitments will protect their reputation, build stakeholder trust, and differentiate themselves in an increasingly discerning market. So what are the key takeaways that we think businesses need to think about? Firstly, be authentic and transparent. Make sure any climate-related claims you make are accurate and verifiable. Don't overstate your achievements or intentions, and make sure your supporting data is robust. Secondly, Consider a review or analysis of your statements to ensure they are accurate. Environmental regulations are evolving rapidly, so stay informed and proactively work with your legal advisors to avoid potential pitfalls. And finally, consider climate liability as a distinct risk category, separate from general litigation risk. In order to respond to this emerging and developing risk area, businesses should seek to identify their chief climate-related compliance risks and prioritise the development of controls, policies and procedures to mitigate the risk of climate-related litigation. The transition to a more sustainable economy is both a challenge and an opportunity. Businesses that prioritise genuine, legally compliant practices will not only avoid liability and reduce risk exposure, but will also position themselves as contributing positively to the impact of climate change. To find out more about how we can help you, don't hesitate to get in touch.